space. Wilco makes a run ahead of it. Bergkamp suddenly changed pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp! That's magnificent! The move, and then this, which left Dabby's ass totally stranded.
Oh, I've got it in the background. Professional, so professional. I was like, the intro is still going, Danny. Can you at least stop it or something? Jesus Christ. Anyway.
10 years later and I'm still doing it.
Yep, that's it. Welcome to a Bergkamp Wonderland, an Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Deacon. I'm joined by Danny. We're here to discuss the very hard-fought 2-0 victory over Newcastle at St. James's Park up north, where the ice wall is and all of that from Game of Thrones. What a game. Lots to discuss. Lots of fight. I've never seen such a passionate game as today. And a more stressful game as well. I'm sure we'll go into all of it. But Danny, how are you? What did you make of the game overall? What's your first initial thoughts?
Magnificent by Xhaka, Ramsdale, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Jorginho. And
Kieran did it again today. Just once again, has not made us stress about the Saliba situation. No. Boy-Tendio, I'm just going to chuck that up straight away. Open it up with that. Kind of annoyed with Arteta for not starting Kieran sooner. It's that hindsight. It's captain hindsight, isn't it? That catch-22.
But did you hear why he didn't?
No.
He was saying that he didn't speak English, and he has had an intensive course of English, and that's helped him be able to do his job.
Imagine if we'd signed him in the summer. So he was already integrated. Christ. What a situation to be involved in. But anyway, yeah. What else, Danny? What did you make of the game then? Apart from everybody just getting mad at the match, pretty much.
Very, very good. I mean, Newcastle, I tweeted that Newcastle have gone full Attitude Era WWF and they were taking no prisoners, which is a shame because they have got some magnificent players. Isaac? What's he? How do you say his name? Isaac. Number 14, playing in the Henry position and with the assist that he got a couple of weeks ago. What a brilliant player. Been injured for the first part of the season. Really interesting to see them play. Really surprised that Bruno Guimaraes is such a dirty bastard. Oh,
I think he's bitter. I think he's bitter that we didn't sign him in the summer.
Well, Newcastle. We were going to sign him, apparently, and then Newcastle offered a lot more wages and more money. He went, well, fair enough. They Juan muttered us when we were meant to sign him.
I didn't know that. I thought we didn't even really go in for him. I think there was rumours that we were going to go for him, but then we didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean that's just what I saw tweeted. Could be absolute nonsense, but just well done. And Arteta's tactics, brilliant. His substitutions, brilliant.
Yeah, agreed.
Everybody had a great game, and it's wonderful to see. And for those, I remember a couple of shows ago, might have been the Man City game, and that run of 4 games without a win, and quite a few people going, Ramsdale not good enough. No, he's no. And I think someone come and said he's no Seaman and he's no layman. And I thought, well. And then I did a thing. I said, well, when Layman was this age, and when I think Seaman had just been at Leeds or QPR or someone like that, and just got them relegated.
Leeds, isn't it? It was Leeds.
Yeah, one of those.
Leeds. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Leeds.
Yeah. And he hadn't done that well. And now he's come in, and he's not come in. He's still there, and he is still brilliant. And that boy is getting better and better by the game. And everything went right today. And like we assumed a couple of shows ago. Let's see how Arsenal play without the pressure on them. And they've had we smashed Chelsea 3-1 and went to Newcastle and beat them 2-0. I mean, how many teams have gone there and done that?
It's the bogey game as well, wasn't it? Because of last season, this was the game where we sort of faltered at St. James's Park to kind of miss out on Champions League football last season. And we kind of capitulate right at the very end. So this is a bogey situation for us. We played him earlier on this season at the Emirates and they basically just strangled the game. With an own goal from Ben White, I believe. It was just 90 minutes of them just sitting and holding and not doing anything else. And we got really frustrated.
Once at home.
Yeah, it was a hard fought game. As I said, I don't think I've ever seen. Oh, that's all right. Oh, hello. I don't think I've ever seen a more passionate, hard fought, battled game all season. kind of the City situation, the game that we played at the Etihad a few weeks ago now. We kind of went into that with false optimism. We kind of knew it was going to happen. But this game was just pure pressure and just stress for me anyway. This was probably one of the most stressful games I've seen all season. But we managed to get the result and we got ourselves a clean sheet to boot. So I'm extremely impressed with everybody. Man of the match goes to Ramsdale, but we'll talk about it anyway. But let's say hello to some people that have jumped in straight after the game as well. So we really appreciate everybody just wanting to relive the moment straight off the bat. So, Danny, let's say hello to some people, shall we?
First of all, and there was you, and you said it's 1-0 at halftime. What a game. So much pressure, so much tension. Players killing themselves. Let's go on and win the thing now. Need more from Saka and Martinelli on the wings, and we will get over the line. Saka struggled, but he's been kicked, and Martinelli did what he wanted him to. Paul Nell, not Neil, says oi oi. Sai is there. If it weren't for the cheating scums, we would have won the league. No doubt the best team in the league. Bloody hell. Can someone frame that? Sai's been positive. Or someone check his temperature. Put a thermometer up his bum. I think that's how you check people's temperature. Rocky says, good evening all. Boy 10, evening. Jim Eves, evening all. Low-key, evening all. Sai says, Ramsdale, man of the match. Phil Macker is there. How did he do? He managed to, yet again, I put preview rather than review. So he sent me a DM saying, now we're going to do a preview for the game once the game is over. Cheeky. Avon, Dirty Magpies. That's right. Sai says hello. Avon.Teddington says, hope they end up in the Europa League.
I hope they don't even get that, but they will.
Before I go on with any more of these comments, do you think this has changed people's opinion of Newcastle? Because plucky old Newcastle, come on, we want them to do well. Now it's like you dirty cheating scumbags, isn't it?
I don't think many. I think we don't have a vendetta against them, but I don't think we appreciate how they're going to push the league for the next few years now because of the money that they have from the Saudi state. A little bit, it's annoying because I had like personal grievances with Mike Ashley. A lot of my community, online community, the Drylanders and all of the boys, they know why I've got a massive beef with Mike Ashley in real life because he fucked my dad over financially over a thing. So my dad knew him personally. He's a complete twat. Sorry, I've already done it. I've already done it, Danny. I've already swore, but for right reasons. But you know, and then they go and get owned by the Saudi state. So it's a bit a sweet situation. It's like less of which one's less evil in someone's eyes. So I don't think really anybody really cares about Newcastle. You know, you like the fact that they're English. They've got Eddie Howe. They're kind of backing him as opposed to what Chelsea have done with Potter. We knew that you were going to ruin him, and I'm enjoying the capitulation from Chelsea. I'm annoyed that they got the result yesterday. But yeah, I don't really give a shit about Newcastle. I don't want them to get Champions League football 100% this season. I'd rather United get Champions League football than Newcastle get Champions League football.
Yes, I was in Milton Keynes yesterday at IKEA, and I was going around the shop, and I kept going, oh, for God's sake, Spurs have scored, Chelsea are winning, Liverpool are winning, and I forgot, bloody hell. And then I had food 4 times yesterday. Never in my life have I eaten 4 times in a day. I was stuffed. We spent 90 quid on food in a day.
That's impressive. That's impressive. That's impressive.
It's terrible. I eat once a day normally. So today is a fruit and nut day, and I don't mean the chocolate bar, you cheeky fuckers. Right, Demsek says, hello. Hi, guys. Avon, by the way, those people who say Odegaard disappears in big games, remind them of this game.
Who says that? I'd love to meet these people. I've not seen any of that. I've not seen that before. I've not heard of any negatives towards Odegaard. He's like the second highest goal scorer, central midfielder in the Prem at the moment.
Yeah. And I think he's is he on 15 now, same as Martinelli?
Yeah, he's fun. He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
He's barely out of nappies. Oh,
no, he's 24.
Amazing.
Crazy. We've got such a good player.
Tulby Fool says, masterclass from the ref in figuring out ways not to book the blonde master brain twins in the Newcastle
Master Blaster twins.
I mean, we'll come to this later, but when you look at the fact that today they got booked, Dan Burns 73 and Schlar in the 96th.
Schlar.
And then Eddie got
like
one
that.
in the 96th.
You're supposed to share. Let's call him Schlar.
Oh, what an absolute. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but then that's what we get used to. Demsek says, first game Kiwior was poor. Now he looks solid. Yeah.
Well, he had that very small cameo, didn't he?
Yeah. Mudrick 1.0. Phil says, big star Avon, Herbgard, magnificent. He is a cross between the ballerina and a magician. Do you think because he's already had a sour taste in his mouth from going to a big club abroad, that he's never going to want to do that again after being at Real Madrid from the age of, 14, 15?
I think when you're 16 years old and you get the contract that you do of £80,000 a year, and everybody's like, Odegaard's been around for nearly a decade and he's only 24. Everybody knows of Odegaard, but the thing is, it didn't work out like everybody predicted, and there was anxious worry about it being like a Freddie Adu. And if you don't know who Freddie Adu is, footballer that everybody rated back in the day, Football Manager, he was rated to be he was supposed to be one of the best players in the world, and he just didn't really get anywhere. So everyone uses it as an example called Freddie Adu. And so everyone was worried about that being the same thing with Odegaard, going on loan a few times, going on loan with Arsenal, kind of showing something that he can get involved. And then we take a punt on him for 35, which was a steal now when it comes to Real Madrid. But let me just say this: I don't think Real Madrid are really worried too much about that sort of thing now that they're signing Bellingham. I love the fact that Bellingham was like, "Oh yeah, I want to play for a club with a young players, sort of like a story being built," and then he goes to Real Madrid for like nearly 400 grand a week. So I was like, "Oh right, so all that what you said was a load of tosh, was it?" Well, I'm shocked. Anyway, I digress. Odegaard, all of those situations kind of gave him a steel spine. He looks like a player that's been playing for 20 years. He knows the dark arts. He knows how to get in the minds of the players, in the minds of the referee, to kind of waste those few extra seconds, give his teammates a little bit more time to get into the positions that they need to. He's incredibly smart. He's off the ball play is impeccable. He's on the ball play is once again the difference maker today, which got us the goal from just outside the box. It's very similar now that he scored a few goals like that. But he is just, I can't believe we got him for what we did. Unbelievable. And the guy's the captain, leading from the front. I'm in complete awe of Martin Odegaard. He's just an incredible football player, Danny.
He is, and we love him. A few more things tied out. Rocky says we need to keep Katie. Yes, we do.
He was brilliant today. He was so good today.
Avon says yes. Boy says Guimarães went for the Newcastle money. He can't be mad at our players for having the proper football club. Could we not move Zinchenko to CM and recruit another left back?
I will talk about that. I will talk about that.
Makes our midfield signings an easier ordeal as Zinchenko covers all of those positions. I mean, if he does it for the Ukraine, we'll cover that later. Demsek says Arteta needs to keep Katie and Martinelli together and sort things out. Does. Avon says Man United cannot finish ahead of us. No, all we needed was a point today, and we're guaranteed second place.
I still can't believe Gary Neville said that shit for how long. Absolutely, the Man United tinted glasses. He needs to take them off sometimes. It's a little bit crazy.
Yes, I was going to make a new banner. Happy Premier League runners.
Oh yeah, we're confirmed second now, aren't we? That's it now. At least Premier second place. Now, if you said that at the start of the season, saying that we'd finish up second, holy shit! People
3 games to go.
Fucking, I'll take that. Yeah, this is impressive. Very impressive. We're on course for 90 points. That's so good. That's so. Didn't Liverpool, the season where they didn't win it last season, didn't they get 91 points?
I wouldn't know.
If anybody can tell me that, I'm pretty sure Liverpool got 91 points and everybody was like, Liverpool get 91 points and that's not winning the league. This is really showing how good this City side is. So if anybody can confirm that for me, I really appreciate it. And we're 1 point off that. That's my point. We're 1 point off that with the team that we have, and we've got such a higher ceiling than Liverpool do or did. Such a higher ceiling. Anyway, shall we just jump into the minutes then, shall we?
Yes,
or talk about the lineup and everything like that?
I'm doing another cut and paste.
Let's do it. Gabriel back in the side. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Lot of worry at the end of the game last week where Gabriel got battered, and we were talking about how many times does a player need to go down before we end up substituting, and it was like 5 or 6 times. But I wasn't worried. I heard rumors a couple of days later that he's pretty much fine, and he played again today, which it's nice to not worry about the defensive partnership at the moment now that Kivior stepped in and doing the business. Incredible player. Jorginho once again keeps his spot over Partey, who came on and had a lovely little cameo. So I'm hoping that he's going to hopefully start to show what he did at the start of the season for the final remaining games of this season.
Did you notice what position Partey, Xhaka, and Jorginho played in?
In the last few minutes, I didn't notice. No.
No. If anybody did, let us know, because I was busy.
I'm pretty sure Partey was playing forever because he had better legs. But that's I don't know. I'm not sure. Other than that, no other changes. It's nice to Liverpool finished 92 points. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, we'll be potentially 2 points off. I still think that's impressive. Impressive.
Considering that was almost the
that was like the Liverpool side, and we could get to 90 points, and we've got a ginormous ceiling in comparison to them. Ginormous season. So first minute, Murphy hits the post. What the fuck? What an opening few seconds of the game. Zinny, for me, doesn't close down the ball enough. We'll talk about it. All the Zinny moments today. Should have done better. Jorginho getting caught out in the midfield, really showing his lack of legs. We thought Xhaka was slow. Jorginho is like, hold my beer. I can run slower than Granit Xhaka. He goes in for a challenge, doesn't make contact with the ball. The play is able to proceed. And the central midfields of the game in the first few minutes really starts to show that Newcastle had the upper hand in the early few minutes of the game, just purely from the midfield area. But Zinny once again doesn't do enough to close down. Danny is in check. Should we just talk about it now? Because it's like the opening section of it all. Yeah. Lots of people talking about how Zinchenko, we've spoken about it numerous times on the podcast, that Zinchenko's defensive capabilities are not his strongest suit. And Tierney came in today and put in an incredible performance. So it kind of, you're sort of like, we struggled creatively because Zinny and Xhaka weren't playing as attacking this today. But Zinny really, when we have to defend, it's like if we play a team that are going to go toe to toe with us or pressure us as much as Newcastle did today, you kind of get a little bit anxious with Zinchenko. He doesn't close down Murphy enough for me. And Murphy puts it against the post, beats Ramsdale. Really, really, really worried about that. But do we sign a left back and put Zinny as an option for the central midfield? But then does that stop the opportunities of potentially signing someone like Caicedo or Rice in the summer? And I'd love to sign either one of those. I know you're not a massive fan of Rice, and Caicedo for me is brilliant. He had a great performance.
He's a right back,
Brighton recently. He played right.
The last Brighton game.
Last Brighton game, Caicedo played right back and put in incredible performance there for Brighton. So really showing that he's that level above Partey.
Where does he usually play?
Central mid. He's a water carrier.
Yeah.
Disrupts the play and then recycles the possession. He's one of the best in the league for it. He had one of the best games I've ever seen him. It was either against Chelsea or United. Can't remember. It was a few weeks ago, and I was watching it, and Caicedo was unbelievable. We constantly intercepted the ball. But Kieran Tierney had a game today, a really, really good game. But Zinny, once again, getting caught out numerous times. And this is in the first minute. In the first minute, Danny, Zinny gets caught out, doesn't close down the ball enough, and Murphy's only stopped by the woodwork. Unbelievable.
It is very annoying, but I think this all depends on whether Tierney is going to stay at the club. Because if Tierney is, as he's shown today, he's still a brilliant player. He's been fit for most of the season. People go, "Oh, he's injury prone." He damaged his shoulder, his left shoulder, I think, at Celtic, and then he landed on it again when he came to Arsenal. And then he had a right shoulder injury, and then I think he had a calf injury. So it's not the same one over and go over because he is so committed.
He's not
to
Partey.
Everything.
He's not a Partey.
Yeah, he's so committed to everything that he just goes in and then tries to get the ball. And he'll put his body at risk, like Jack used to, and other players. And I think the first thing you need to do is, Tierney, are you going to stay? And then maybe play Zinchenko in CM. But I don't think that's ever going to happen because
I don't think Zinchenko. I don't think Tierney's going to stay.
No, nor do I.
And I don't even think it's anything to do with the fact that Arsenal don't want him. I think he's going to want to leave for getting some game time. I think he wants game time. He's not been getting it this season. It'll be interesting to see how the few remaining games, it'll be interesting to see how much Tierney is involved, especially against we've already played Chelsea. I'm like, what game have we got next? I can't even remember. I can't even remember what game we got next. Checking this on the fly. Blah, da, 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 blah, da, 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 blah, da, 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 Brighton. Yeah, we got Brighton, Nottingham Forest. Sorry, probably all getting really annoyed at me, telling me, shit, it's Brighton, Deacon. Yes, that's going to be a tough game. So there's going to be questions asked. Potentially, will Tierney start for that particular game? So that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, lots of interesting questions about Kieran Tierney. I don't want to lose Kieran Tierney. I think he's an incredible player, but I don't think he'll stay around because of the lack of game time. But as I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens against Brighton. But there we are. We'll talk about the Shah situation. Go on.
He's never going to play him in central midfield if he went and bought Jorginho to play in that position, and he's got someone like him there. He's never going to do it. It's never going to.
Yeah,
but
we're looking at Rice, Caicedo. Yeah. We're looking at Mount. ESR's getting retracked. We'll talk about it. It was a question. ESR movement. We'll talk about it. I think it was one of the questions, and I saved it. Yeah, Phil Macker put the question in, and I've saved that. I'll answer that because there was developments and news articles coming out about that, and I want to talk about that in conjunction with the Martinelli season where we didn't see him for like 75% of it, and now look at the player that we've. So trust the process. Let him cook. But yeah, first 5 minutes, complete and utter Newcastle control. We've come into the game like a deer in headlights, Danny. I couldn't believe it. But also, sort of 6-7 minutes as well. We look annoyed. We looked annoyed. We looked frustrated. We looked dejected. I don't know what. It was a very mixed emotion from the Arsenal players. Newcastle really getting involved. I don't know whether Arsenal were a little bit shell-shocked that Newcastle came out of the gates as much as they did. Now, I know that they do that, Newcastle, but considering we go by what happened last game, they sat. Whereas with this game, they kind of put the game towards us, which put a lot of pressure on us from coming and playing out the back. And we're one of the best teams in the league that plays out from the back as our City. And they really put us on our back burner, Danny. So the first 6-7 minutes here, it's just complete Newcastle control. Complete and utter Newcastle control.
Which I was quite surprised at. Someone in the chat says, "Oi, Danny, it's Leon. Is that Leon from Huntingdon who's now living in America? I haven't seen you for about 20 years. I hope that is you, because I put it on my Facebook. I tweet because I've got quite a few friends that are Arsenal fans. So say that question again. I just want to make sure if that was the Leon.
No. Whereas, I was just saying for the first sort of 6-7 minutes, it was nothing but Newcastle when we looked like a deer in headlights.
I was worried. I thought, oh God, here we go. It's going to be another collapse. It's going to be like those 4 games where the 3 draws and the loss. It's going to be like that. And I thought, oh, here we go. Because I was talking to a friend of mine on WhatsApp last night, and she said, how do you think the game's going to go? I said, it's going to be tough. I don't think we might not get even a draw out of this. And she said, I think we're going to lose. And then I was thinking back after, this is what we said last week, no pressure on Arsenal, magnificently against Chelsea. We've done really well today. And this could be it. And I've because we're going to do the usual questions, aren't we? Who's playing who? So I've got this ready for when we're talking about it later. I've got the Premier League table ready to talk about it later. And I've also got the history of every Premier League winner and how many points they got to win the league. So they're all ready.
Danny, I love all this. This is beautiful stuff. This is creme de la creme. I'm loving this, Danny. This is brilliant. This is going to be a good pod. We've got lots of people here, guys. If you're brand new, make sure you hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to us. If you're brand spanking new, if you're watching on Twitch, hit us up with a follow. If you have a Prime, make sure you chuck it our way. Gives a little love to Danny, the man. And also, if you are on Twitter, I'm hearing Periscope. Elon launched the Periscope, the 2015 code, because it hasn't been updated since then. And he was like, we're just going to update the bit rate and we'll start in. He wants to start, obviously, get live streamings going on Twitter again. So it's going to be interesting to see. If you're brand new on Twitter and you're watching us on Twitter, hit us up with a follow. We talk about Arsenal every single week after the game. This is a post review, and we remain positive regardless of the result, including the City game. Yeah, it's very easy to get all caught up and look at the negatives because that's what humans do. But we try and do things differently here at Bergkamp Wonderland, and that's what we're going to do again today after a brilliant 2-0 win. So 7 minutes, Danny. Penalty. Or not. But I saw, in real time, you're thinking, okay. But then when you see the replays, do you know what really annoys me? The commentators I was watching, I think it was NBC that I was watching. I know it's American broadcast. They were like, oh, I hit his arm. And you're like watching the replays and you're like, I just want to get like a book and smash my face with it, face palming like this. Because you can see in the replay, it literally bounces off his leg, doesn't even go near his arm. If anything, he's so quick, Kiwior, to pull his arm in as quickly as he does it, that it looks potentially like it's bounced off his arm. But even if it does touch his arm, it still touches his leg before, and therefore it's not a penalty. However, it takes the referee about 100 fucking replays for him to get it in his mind. The commentators are like,
about 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, the commentators, Gary never went, no, because you can see, he kept saying, you can see his shorts move before his arm moved.
Just like,
in the leg and made
how
his shorts move.
How can you watch it this many times and not see it? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm so frustrated that it went on as long as it did. It drives me nuts. What's the point of VAR systems when it takes this long to analyse something that we're all screaming that we see?
And
it's so
even
clearly
have to analyse
obvious.
it. Can't people just say to him, "Oi, ref, no,
it's not a pen, mate. You got it wrong."
Move on.
Sorry again.
Oh, it's only in the first 5 minutes that YouTube get the hump if you swear, and I already said bastard once. So that's
okay. All right, fair enough.
There goes our 70p.
I'm trying my utmost best not to swear as much as I usually do. But yeah, really, really frustrated. 74 replays I wrote down. I was like 74 replays, hits his leg. But I'm hoping at this point that we use this piece of momentum shift, because if anything, this is going to completely deflate Newcastle. They were like, oh my God, we're getting a penalty. No, it's been taken from them. Now we use that momentum to push the pendulum in our direction. And we end up doing that in 13 minutes with, once again, an Odegaard goal. Danny, break it down, baby.
It is, 14-minute goal, Odegaard, typical Odegaard strike. I think that's all you really need to know about that goal. Little Mexican thing up there, because Mike Hurts, fake Mexican, is there. Hello. Tried to get Sean to go to Mexico. She said no, one day. Typical Odegaard strike. What a player. Set up by Jorginho, who's on the right-hand side, gets the ball, slides it through along the floor, which is the best way to play the ball. And Odegaard says, thank you very much, my good man. Do you mind if I tap this? And he went, no, go ahead, sir. Smack it. He went, righto. And then he has a whack, and he manages. There was a game back in the 80s, bear with me, called Sensible Soccer. And you'd have a quick shot pro, you press kick, and then you could go wiggle, 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 and the ball would go like that. And you could after touch it. And I was a god of that game. And Odegaard managed to after touch that goal. So when he kicked it, it went through one player, through another player, and then he curved it into the bottom right of the corner of the goal as the goalkeeper was diving to get it. And that, remember, is the goalkeeper with the second most number of clean sheets in the Premier League. And he did that. And it was sensible soccer style beautifulness. Again, Odegaard, 3 goals in 2 games.
He's do you know what really pisses me off? I took him out of my fantasy team a couple of weeks ago, and he's doing what he's doing right now. It's really annoying me because I kept Saka and Martinelli, and obviously Martinelli got an assist today, but it's been all Odegaard for the last couple of games, and I took him out. But it was such a well placed shot. Like it's precision, not effort or power or anything like that. Nutmegs Botman going through, which is always a nice little touch.
Good.
And then it puts it past Pope, who's competing with Ramsdale for that number 1 shirt. Still don't understand why. My Pickford's still number 1, but there we go. But anyway, unbelievable goal. Once again, we're hoping for the pendulum motion to go in our favour, and it ends up doing that a few minutes later. So I'm very, very happy about that. 60 minutes, what a game. But 20 minutes in, Danny, we're 1-0 up, but we're once again on the back foot. Newcastle pushing, pressuring us, really putting us into some really difficult situations. But Martinelli having an opportunity and not really doing enough with it. Odegaard plays him through the middle, and then Martinelli just doesn't really do enough with it. There was a few moments where we had a few chances, and Pope looks like it's easy for him to make these shots, saves. Unbelievable. And then 22 minutes, Saka should have done better as well. 26 minutes, Ramsdale coming in huge. So let's talk a little bit about our man of the match, man. I know we spoke about earlier at the start of the podcast, but the amount of saves that he made this game, to not even just about keeping us in the game, but just showing the reasons why, signing him down on a long base contract is exactly what we need to be doing. Ramsdale is just, and then 28 minutes, Ramsdale again. Unbelievable play, Danny. Absolutely unbelievable
Goalkeeper saves, they made 5 each.
Yeah, well,
that's why they're 2 best goalkeepers in the league, probably.
Exactly. That's exactly right. This is Pope and this is Ramsdale, the two biggest English keepers going on at the moment. They're both battling for the number 1 shirt. Ramsdale pips it. Ramsdale just pips it.
If it's any manager other than Southgate, those two would be the 1 and 2.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Pope is brilliant. The shot where he saved it from Saka, where he just bounced it, I was like, oh, Jesus, man. He didn't even look like he needed to really go down or make any effort towards it. It was just so easy for him. Unbelievable. 30th minutes here. I'm saying we need more from the wingers. I thought that was really frustrating that Newcastle was. Isn't it weird? Dan Burns, like 7 foot million. The guy is
and they never mention it, do they? Which is so odd.
I know, right? Crazy. But yeah, I don't understand how we're not able to punish Newcastle when they're playing such a slow, tall left back in the way that they are. It's like a very unconventional left back, and I know we're Arsenal. We also play with an unconventional left back. But, I can't believe that Saka and Martinelli weren't able to get involved in the game earlier on than the Martinelli assist. But Danny, what did you make of the Ramsdale doing what he does and then just keeping us in the game, Danny? Because I know I talked about the wingers, but the Ramsdale situation.
I often wonder what it is that makes Ramsdale, because sometimes he's a flapper and sometimes, most of the time, he's brilliant. And I was thinking, could it be having Bob Holding in front of him gives him the willies? Now, I love Big Bob. Big Bob is magnificent. But there is some reason why Ramsdale is on edge at times. He looks nervous. He looks a little bit flappy.
But Gabriel was on edge. Partey was on edge. Zinchenko was on edge. When you don't, it's like the Spartan 300. Yeah, it's the phalanx. It's the phalanx, right? That's the correct term, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the phalanx is I'm probably going to correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just as strong as your weakest point, as King Leonidas says. So there are a row of shields, and if the whole idea of them is to move forward as a unit, and if one's just faltering, then it allows a gap, and Holding has been that gap. But now that Kivior's kind of stepped in and stepped up, we're not seeing as many errors from apart from Zinchenko. But I think that's just because he's not very good offensively. But everything else, Gabriel stepped up. Jorginho has come in and stepped up. Ramsdale has stepped up immensely. So this is, as they say, strikers win you games, but defenders win you titles. And I'm hoping that we can finish the season strong and get those 90 points.
That is an important thing, and it needs to get done. People are putting quotes in there. We've got, I don't know, do that one, and then, right, if I go here, I've got a quote from Rudy, which is, done it in that order? Odegaard, we showed something special today. To come here and win is not easy. The way we did it as well, we had to be very smart. We had to be a bit ugly at times. Which we got away with, which is good. This is a big step for us as a young team coming here and doing all the things we did. It shows we've come a long way. And Odegaard also says that's a big factor as well. Last year here was one of the toughest days of my career, to be honest. After dropping a few points after the City game, to come back and beat Chelsea and then come here and win again, it shows the mentality and how far we've come. We have to keep going. We have to keep digging and fighting until the end. That's Churchillian, that, isn't it?
He's 24 years old. That man is 24 years old. At 24 years old, I was still just partying 3 days straight.
I don't even left home.
I was off my arse most weekends at 24 years old. To hear that so composed and so eloquently said, it blows my mind. I'm crap at languages. It blows my mind that obviously English is not his first language. I'm guessing he speaks Spanish. And he speaks Norwegian and English, and he still comes across the way he does. Unbelievable football player, and obviously the difference maker on the 14 minutes. But what we got here, 33 minutes. I wrote down: have we got a throw-on coach? Because we need one. Have we got a throw-on coach?
We've got a set-piece coach.
We need a throw-on coach.
Yeah,
we need a throw-on coach. We are shocking. We are shocking when it comes to throw-ons. these are great opportunities to get in, the back line. There's no offside when a throw on play.
I did notice that we did do something different from a throw on later on in the game.
Oh, yeah.
They had their backs to us. We ran off, got the ball, picked it up, and Odegaard ran past. And as he ran past, he threw the ball to him like that. And I thought, oh, I've not seen that.
Okay.
Normally, it's a static throw to a static player.
Yeah, we need to do more of that.
That was really quick. So
yeah, we need to do more of that. Hopefully, we need to do something, because if we don't throw it to one of their players, we stand there for about 15 minutes until the referee's about to give a yellow card to the player for time wasting.
I've mentioned previously, and throws, why don't we just give them the ball? Because it seems nobody wants to get it.
Nobody wants to move. Yeah, nobody wants to move. It's really weird. 40 minutes here. Odegaard, long ball, tough for Martinelli. I think that's the Odegaard pass, actually. Odegaard playing it through to Martinelli and him just not doing enough. And then 43 minutes, Bruno Guimaraes fouling Saka and just absolutely destroying his Achilles. It got to the point where you're thinking, at what point does the referee pull out a yellow card? When someone's leg's broken?
I mean,
it's crazy how they would.
He rips his boot off and throws it. And rolls around on the floor. He's in that much pain.
Pissed. He's absolutely pissed. And then we see an argument between Xhaka and Cher. Then we see an argument between Jesus and Trippier. They're all just having massive arguments all over the pitch. Xhaka with Wilson. Sorry.
This is what I wrote in the minutes. 47, Joelinton shoves Odegaard, and then Wilson comes up behind Odegaard and shoulder barges him and shoves him forward. 48, minute later. Wilson being a twat to Xhaka as he is sat on the floor. A minute later, Wilson and Xhaka at it again. Newcastle have a plan and it isn't football. 51, Odegaard. Oh, well, that's down to Odegaard nearly scoring again. But in the space of 3 minutes, and you had about 5 or 6 things going on constantly.
The Bruno on Saka, the Wilson on Xhaka, the Gabriel Jesus on Trippier, and it was just going everywhere. It was going everywhere. Referee lost complete control of the game. He's lucky that it was halftime coming up, so it kind of it was like the bell at school. Kind of, you're in the middle of class and the bell rings, so everyone just stops what they're doing and walks off.
Someone's making their missus watch either watch us or watch the game. That's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If that's Mrs. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, then hello to you.
I can't say it. I can't say it. My missus can say it. I can't say it
perfectly.
Oh, I can't do it. 51 minutes. Odegaard. Why didn't he score, Danny? Why didn't Odegaard score that?
Because Pope is a magnificent goalkeeper, and at the very last second, he stuck his leg out and put it away.
Tried to put it back across, didn't he? Tried to put it back across. He should have just lifted over the keeper. There was some videos going around recently. Now that Ozil is a bit of a catch-22 Marmite kind of player.
No, I love Marmite. I think that bloke's a prick.
There we go. Fine. I loved Ozil when he was playing for us. I thought he was fantastic.
I loved him for the first 3 seasons.
Oh, of course.
World class.
Of course, but he has that ability where he's able to hit the ball into the ground and it bounces over. Odegaard was seen doing that in training, so everyone's like, Odegaard's learning to do the Ozil pass with the bounce into the ground. So I thought that was quite interesting. But doing something like that,
got the skills,
of course, or just rifle it into the back of net, but he plays it back across and Pope saves it. I'm gutted. That should have been a goal. Danny.
We can't be greedy. It should have been a goal. Yes, I'm just looking at the clean sheets. How many have we got? I couldn't believe that. What's he done that? De Gea's on 15.
What?
And Alisson's. I know. How on Man United got 15 clean sheets? And then you've got Alisson, Nick Pope, and Ramsdale all on 13. I mean, De Gea must have come from nowhere to manage to be able to do that. He wasn't even in the chit chat for it.
To be fair, United, when Ten Hag came in, they've kind of built up a run, and that's the reason why they're in the Champions League spots now. But that does shock me though. Regardless of the United surge, that does shock me that Odegaard, De Gea is top.
Yeah, but look at this. Man United clean sheet. Let in 2 against Spurs. Clean. 2 against Man United, clean. 7 against Liverpool, clean. So I think I'd be more happy with what Ramsdale's doing on 13 than letting 7 in against Liverpool.
Yeah, I can't believe it. But yeah, and the first half, what a first half. All I was talking about was the arguing and the fighting that was going on. Pretty much, I thought it was going to get to the point where fisticuffs were going to start happening. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe what was going on. I haven't seen a more heated game of football in a very, very long time. Second half kicks in, and then Ramsdale makes probably the save of the season. It's this year's got a save. That was it last year. He saved the Leicester shot that kind of really put him in the eyes of the Arsenal fans. Once again, he makes the save of the season. Cher has a clean header, heads it, goes into the ground, and Ramsdale has managed to get his right wrist up and sort of deflect it out. I couldn't believe it. What a save! It's not even the fact that he's a great shot stopper. His positioning and his abilities, his quick thinking and his movement is just. There's rumors, that if you look at people, they'll do their team of the season. Sorry, not rumors, but they'll do a team of the season. And some people were saying that Ramsdale is the goalkeeper of the season. And now I know you're saying De Gea's got the most clean sheets, but Ramsdale is he's got to be the best keeper in the league thus far, right?
Some of those saves is. Rudy's cheered us 100 bitties for titties. That's nice.
Oh, very nice.
Rudy.
Oh, very nice
of you. Yeah. Considering the age of him, I mean, De Gea has been at Man United the best part of a decade. This is Ramsdale's only been with a decent club for 2 seasons now.
Yep.
There you go.
I can't. Yeah, I'm in love with Ramsdale. I love his attitude. I love the fact that he's kind of connected the fans and the players on and off the pitch. Kind of really gets going with us. I love all of that sort of stuff. And then it only took Martinelli had an effort on the 50th minute, but the 60th minute, Zinny for Tierney. You were talking, Danny, at the start of the podcast that the substitutions were on point today. And this right here was probably the best substitution of the game.
And Tierney didn't even, Zinchenko didn't even look surprised, did he? I think he knew. Looking at the ratings, he was Ben White got a 6-7. I don't agree with that.
No. Ben White had a 93rd minute a tackle of the season, 93rd minute.
Yeah, so Zinchenko got a 6-9 and he came off. And then you think that's good. Rather than wait until like the 85th, 84th, some minute like that, Arteta's gone, right, we need to shore this up. We're 1-0 up. We're dominating the game and shut the game down. And then that should have been game over. Plus, we needed someone on the pitch who's been on the Iron Brew, who isn't going to take any shit off of any of their players. And who better than Tierney to come on and do that? And he was brilliant, wasn't he? He got straight into the game.
Yep, I absolutely loved it. I thought Tierney had probably one of the best games this season in an Arsenal shirt. Now, I know he's not had many appearances this season because of the acquisition of Zinchenko, but Tierney just slotted in perfectly. There was a few more moments where he stepped in. We'll talk about that in just a moment because we're only still around the 60th minute. And then Xhaka, 58 minutes, does probably one of the tackles of the season, able to dispossess in the box super cleanly and stifling a very well pushed Newcastle attack.
Wonderful.
Xhaka he played deeper again today, and I'm not a fan of deep playing Xhaka because that's the Xhaka we've seen for years.
I've also go on.
No, I was going to say I've loved his attacking Xhaka version this season. It's been great, but today he was deeper and he did the business.
I like it when Xhaka doesn't have to cover left back when Zinchenko is off wandering around. Zinchenko's a great player. I love Zinchenko. There's a few things about his game that I don't like, but when we've got Tierney at left back, Xhaka can go, well, that's that covered then. I'm going to carry on in midfield and track back and do all those other things rather than having a bit waiting and having to cover it at left back when he has gone on a wonder, which is why I love Kieran Tierney so much. And I would have him playing over Zinchenko most of the time because I want an actual left back to be playing at left back. And I know the whole back three shuffle across a little bit and Gabriel covers there, but I don't like it. But then I'm not the manager, am I? And we're second in the league with him.
I like it. When Zinchenko plays well, our creative outlet and our attacking outlet is sublime. It really is. But when we're caught out and we have to do a bit of defending, obviously Zinchenko gets caught out and it's frustrating. So we were lucky we got away with it today. And then a change at 60 minutes brings Tierney on and does an incredible performance. 65 minutes, Joe Linton getting involved and Cher getting involved, chucking their elbows about. They love a bit of UFC. How did Joe Linton get away with what he did, and how did Cher not get a red card for that elbow into Gabriel Jesus' face? And I'm confused. Can you help me?
They did. They were doing it the whole time. I actually did a tweet, and I had a picture of of where was it? No, I can't find it. But there was I had a picture of it was coming in for a corner, and Joe Linton went in with an elbow on Xhaka's neck, and he got away with it.
Yep.
They were just kept doing it the whole game. Annoying, and the referee showed absolutely no passion towards doing something about it. Yeah, I found the picture. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to put it on the desktop, and then I'm going to load it in here because I thought it was in the penalty area. I mean, it was their corner where it had been. It
is this the Joe Linton on Xhaka one?
Yeah, the elbow in because I got it just before. I think maybe he had a second dig at it as well. There it is. Bring the picture up. Get that to go away. And then here, there you go. You can see Joe Linton in the middle, number 7. His elbow went there, and then just after that, he lifted the elbow up, and it went up the top of his head.
Yep,
so
crazy.
He's in and then up.
VAR look at these things, and they didn't give anything, not even a foul, not even a foul.
Through the game.
I couldn't believe it. Joe Linton was throwing himself. There was a moment as well. I don't know if you noticed it, Danny, when Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel, the centre-back, were going over and having a little chat with Joe Linton to try and calm him down a little bit because he was throwing himself about there.
I did. I made a note of this. Oh, here we go. 42nd minute. I know we're going back.
Okay,
in time.
So this
Guerrero's goes down. Xhaka's calf, which we talked about, and I didn't put the rest of it. Jesus talking to Joe Linton and taking him away, and then Gabriel's body language is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" As he also tried to grab him away. And then we had Wilson doing it as well in the second half. Was it the second half? Might have been the first half.
No,
Wilson was all over people, and he would not fuck off and leave people alone. And the referee's going, that's all right.
I lost count how many times Wilson was just grabbing on Ramsdale when he had the ball.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing, mate? Doing this sort of fucking bullshittery play that Newcastle do.
Yeah.
I've got no time for it. No time for it. If I get annoyed when Gabriel Jesus even goes down on a light challenge. I'm just like, I don't want to see that from Arsenal. We've got class. We're better than that. I get really fucked off with it. So the idea of Wilson just doing what he does and just throwing himself about and being just a nuisance and a dickhead, I've got no time for it. I don't know how you can applaud it as a player. Maybe that's because we have a higher level of class that we respect and we're not like scum of the earth. Because my comment here is the Newcastle players are playing like scum. We know when you get out of the bath and you leave that ring of scum. that's what my mind goes to when I look at Newcastle
doing it.
Yeah, it's just
they
not
give
even.
A damn.
It's fucking, and the ref just not really getting involved and just allowing this situation to just build and fester and fester. I couldn't believe it, but we got our comeuppance. They got their comeuppance. Sorry, on the 70th minute with Martinelli. I'd said at half time that the wingers need to get involved. Saka and Martinelli have been invisible, but the introduction of Tierney allowed Martinelli to get more involved because of the overlap that Tierney offered, therefore allowed Martinelli to get into an opportunity where he's able to run at the defence, like I've put here. Yeah, I jumped in.
5:31 p.m. you put that.
I jumped in at halftime on the stream just so I could type this and just say Martinelli and Saka need to get more involved and we can get this over the line. And I was correct. Martinelli driving at the defence beautifully. And once again, he does that left peg thing where he does that extra step. And you're like, oh, fuck, this is going to be too much. But no, Martinelli does the correct thing, rifles it across the mouth of goal, goes past Pope and bounces off Cher's foot to make it 2-0. So I couldn't believe it, the fact that, Cher, there was a possibility of him going off for a red card on Gabriel Jesus. And then he goes and does this anyway. So it kind of, a little bit of karma, Danny. A little bit of karma.
It was, but you could just see that Newcastle knew they were going to get away with whatever they want, and the players were making the most of that. And once you see that the referee is inept, like someone's put out, Leon, if you're still there, nice to see you there. Where someone else put it in here about the ref. Oh, there you go. And lots of numbers. Kavanagh had an appalling game. Here's a joke of a referee. I've had a bit of a trouble with Twitch. They've updated it on desktop, and they've moved everything around, and I couldn't see him. So I've had to redo all my panels, which is why I've been back and forth
right. Okay. That's all right. Danny, you know me. I can waffle on till the cows come home. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Carlito says Odegaard should have had a hat-trick or more.
I agree.
Magnificent.
I agree. But he still just did it, didn't he? He just still did it. He's quite incredible. No, it was all talk. Sorry, I just wanted to briefly mention because of the viral video that went around about Odegaard making the bounce pass or the bounce shot. I thought that was fantastic.
Nice quote here from Jorginho. Cheers, Rudy. This atmosphere is so beautiful. It just motivates us to play, gives us so much fight. It's atmosphere. Every one of us was dreaming as kids. Now it's time to enjoy.
Danny, I love the fact that we signed Jorginho in the winter. There was a lot of questions
He's
about
31.
the fact that there was lots
going, it can go in the summer. What?
Oh no! The fact that we signed him on a 2-year deal, so it's less pressure on us. Yeah. He's coming in and brings us a level of calmness. The guy is just such a model professional. Super experienced.
For Napoli in Serie A, one of the most wanted players in the league.
Exactly. He's done it at Napoli, but he did it even more at Chelsea. An incredible football player and someone that's just come in and just went, I'm Premier League proven. I can do this business, no problem. I know he hasn't got the legs, but he's got the ability and the game sense to just dominate. And I love everything about him. It's like I've completely forgotten that he played for Chelsea. I've just loved him from the first moment we've signed him. He's just got such a lovely aura about him. As much as I can't stand the way he takes penalties, but we're not going to see that, hopefully. Hopefully we won't get to a stage where we need to see it. But I love him. I absolutely love Jorginho. So I'm loving that quote. That's fantastic. But yeah, Jorginho was immense today, Danny. Jorginho was immense. What else we got in the chat?
Another quote from Rudy. Arteta, quote, we had to be at our best and demand of ourselves a very different level to what we showed here last year. We had to dig very deep. Well, Richard Morris is late. No, he's probably been celebrating with the king.
Don't worry. Morris, Newcastle were late on a lot of their challenges as well, so it's fine.
Do you like the royal family?
What's that? Me? Do I like the royal family? Yeah. I'm not the king's biggest fan, but I am a man of, I think values and traditions are steeped in English culture. So I like the fact that we've got a little bit about ourselves in that regard. And the fact that, the royal family bring in billions of pounds every year on tourism. It's you know what I mean? A lot of people come to London to see the royal family. So it brings in a lot of tourism. So I'm not against the royal family, but I'm not for them either to a degree. I just appreciate it's kind of like a mutual appreciation. So it is what it is.
Being American. It's about
listen. We're not a monarchy. We're a democracy. We're not a monarchy. They've got no power. It's more of a tourism thing, and just accept it for what it is. Don't have to worry about it. Jesus Christ! But some people get very upset, like Liverpool people, like Liverpool fans.
Fucking,
they get so upset. Everything's about them. Everything's about them. But they'll still take tomorrow off.
Always the filthy victims. Rudy says, Arteta on the game. I think the word to describe it is fight. When you have question marks, you have to resolve them. When you have the emotions we had last year, you have to feel them again. Realize how nasty they are and approach the game differently. The boys did well. There you go.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. What else we got? We got anything else going on? Should we just jump straight back into some more?
Yeah.
Go on.
No, you carry on. I was going to highlight what people are doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If we got anything, what else we got? I'll let you off, Deacs. Let me off what? What are you going to let me off? Off to watch some old Arsenal. Well, man, okay, cool. No worries. No worries. United a goal down.
Oh,
wait, they are playing right now, aren't they? Oh, they're playing right now.
They're playing 1-0 down at home away to West Ham. Come on, the Hammers. Right. Dortmund 1-6.
They are rubbish. Jesus, yeah. Well, De Gea is not going to get a clean sheet tonight. What else we got here? 75 minutes. Tierney looking good. Tierney stepping in and doing the business. Absolutely stepping in and doing the business. He looked absolutely fantastic. Mrs. wants to know what's Deac. This is a Haywards Heath shirt. The reason why is because they support a cause that I work with called Walk and Talk, which is a men's mental health charity, and they've got the logo at the bottom of the shirt. There it is. Walk and Talk, which is a men's mental health charity, opposing football fans walking together to try and break the stigma of men having a chin wag and hopefully ending some self-deletion. So that's what it's all about. Does Deac, like the royal family, already knew what the answer was going to be? Yeah, Rick knows me. He's a Drylander, so he knows exactly where I stand. It's mutual appreciation.
I like him. Yeah, well,
I've got no qualms with him. I've got no qualms with him. Like,
so many people off. Just fucking relax.
Just live your life. Yeah, just life.
Fuck off then. We'll have cut your head off.
Yeah, life's too short to be getting anxious, getting annoyed about just trivial things that you've got no control over. Jesus Christ, it gets a little bit sad and pathetic. Do you know what? We're not going to talk too much about it, but obviously the Liverpool fans were booing it. We all knew they were going to boo the national anthem because they say they're Scouse and not English. Yeah. And then and it's like, oh well, they're allowed to boo and it's their democratic right and free speech and all that. And it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But then Henderson's caught singing the national anthem, which I've called out Henderson before and be like, what's it like playing for an anti-English football club? It must be really weird. He's obviously patriotically English, and he got caught singing the national anthem where Trent Alexander-Arnold was not singing it deliberately. And all the Liverpool fans were like, right, we don't want Henderson in the team no more. Get him out. He's a scumbag. And it's like, well, it was his democratic right to sing. No, I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Tierney, yeah, absolute knob jocks. Tierney just looked fucking unbelievable. There was moments where he kind of stepped in and just intercepted the passes so beautifully, really showing he's got that awareness. Is it something that we need to look at now, Danny, with the remaining games of the season, that we look at the possibility of starting Tierney now, especially against Brighton, who have got such a plethora of attacking threats? Matoma, who I'd love to see in an Arsenal shirt, Solly March as well, and McAllister, who is a World Cup winner. And Ferguson's been playing, before the injury, he was playing decently, but Welbeck stepped up. When he gets the minutes, he does really, really well. So is this going to be a situation now of we bring in Tierney, or do we hold and keep doing the thing with Zinchenko?
I'm just going to have a look at Zinchenko's games that he's played this season, how much of the games that he's played. So it's obviously, because you're full of fucking, I hate Chrome. I should use Brave. Brave is my favourite browser.
Brave? What the hell is Brave?
Oh, it's an ad. It blocks all adverts and it doesn't spy on you. It's wonderful. All right, Premier League, looking at Zinchenko this season. So the bad run of games, he played 88 minutes against Liverpool. West Ham, he didn't play, and I think as Tierney came in and played, but he tried to make Tierney play the Zinchenko way by dropping into defensive midfield, didn't like it. And then he played 72 minutes of the Southampton game. He played all 90 minutes of the Man City game. And so in those games, we conceded as our worst run of games this season. And the other worst run of games, 1-0 lost to Everton. He played 90. Brentford 1-1. He played 90. Man City 3-1. He played 90. So all of our worst run of games this season, Zinchenko has played there. And he does the Zinchenko thing, the cutting in from left back, which I don't like. And yes, so I would give Tierney a run at left back, because Zinchenko, for me, is he still, because he was out against West Ham, he had an injury. I think there might have been a stomach bug or something. But I'm just old fashioned. I want a left back at left back, and maybe it is time to drop him. But I think if we're going to keep Tierney at the club next season, this is the time for Arteta to start playing him at left back and saying, "Go on, you go out there. Will you play left back?" Because the games that we've got coming up next are
Brighton.
Where is
Brighton
it?
next.
Here they are. Yeah.
Beautiful.
On the next weekend, next Sunday, we are at home to Brighton, which is going to be a tough game, because I watched Brighton midweek and they are an absolute joy to watch.
They play very good football.
And then the last two games of the season, meaningless, because both those teams are rubbish, Forest and Wolves. So
you say that, they've been getting results the last few weeks. They've been getting clean sheets. They've been getting wins.
Still not a good side, though.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but they've built up a little bit of momentum, which could cause us a little bit of trouble if the Premier League goes down to the last game of the season. Wolverhampton are going to put up a fight, that's for sure. They got a little bit of grievances towards us, because that's where the celebration police got involved last season, didn't it, with Wolves, when we got that victory over them. So I think they'll turn up. I think they'll turn up. So we can't just step in and just think that Wolves are going to, roll over and give up. They're definitely going to take it to the game. That's for sure. Substitutions here: Martinelli coming off for Trossard, and then we all thought that Jorginho was going to come off for Partey, but Odegaard comes off to kind of shoring up the midfield with a Xhaka, Partey, and Jorginho midfield. I think that's probably the first time we've seen all three of them together like that.
I mean, look, how many years did we go without a proper defensive midfielder, and now we've got three of them, all at the pitch at the same. Wenger must be rolling in his cabbage patch or rolling in the sand or whatever it is that he's doing, because he hasn't got another job in management, has he?
That's it. Then 83 minutes here, another Tierney tackle. He just unbelievable. His interception play was brilliant, as was Kivior again today. Didn't really put a foot wrong, so I was really happy about that.
Well, when you don't hear much of a defender, you know they've had a decent game if they haven't had to do anything.
Exactly. And if you say the same for a striker, it's not a good thing. 86 minutes here, Gabriel Jesus comes off and Nketiah. And then Saka off for Nelson. Once again, Danny, substitutions were correct.
They were, yeah. Nice to see players getting minutes. A little bit sad that Reece Nelson has said this week that he's going to be leaving the club, which I'm quite annoyed about after all the chances he's been given. But and the ESR thing as well looks like he's going to get one more season. But these young players and with Charlie Patino. You're not going to get this opportunity. And Balogun. Has Balogun made his mind up yet, though?
Yeah, Balogun's leaving. Yeah, he wants to leave.
For God's sake.
He wants to leave. He knows. So the thing is, right, for the last few years, we have been an academy production-based team, right? But we've now stepped up to that. We've stepped that level up.
Yeah, we're not playing in the Europa League where you can make a name for yourself anymore.
No, we're playing in the Champions League and we're competing for the title now, all right? So we can't be in that situation where we can give as many chances to as many players as we have done over the last few years, because we've been kind of, building to this moment. And now we've got to this moment a little bit earlier than we perceived, and even Arteta perceived to be. So we're going to need to step ourselves up a little bit more. And that's the reason why we've confirmed second spot. We've got Champions League football. We're still hopefully going to push for the title. We look at the fixture listings for City. They've still got Real Madrid to play this week. And then they've got a difficult game against Everton. And then they've got Real Madrid again. It's going to be a very difficult end to the season for Man City. We saw them play yesterday. Okay? 2-1. Who were they playing yesterday? I can't even remember who City were playing yesterday.
Leeds.
That's right. Leeds got themselves a goal late on. And then City taking the ball into the corner flag. I was like, fucking hell, man. City terrifying, getting terrified by and terrorized by Leeds at the Etihad. I'm thinking there's already moments where I'm like, City have, they still aren't a perfect, perfectly finished piece of art. They've still got a lot of things to work out. And they've got this very tricky double fixture with Real Madrid and also an FA Cup to think about at the end of the season against United. Points could be dropped. Chelsea have now picked themselves up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if they turn up against City on the 21st. They got 2-3 days later, they've got Brighton at the Amex. And then literally 4 days later, they've got Brentford, who's already beat them this season. Listen, I know I got a bit of jip on Twitter because I'm being very positive.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm. How dare I be really positive? There was a guy on there who's like giving me jip, going, "Oh well, I hope you come down from cloud nine when it gets shown up."
And I'm like, wrong, do they? They'd rather be pessimistic.
I just like, you must be the most fucking boringest person to go for a beer with. Fucking, you sit down with him. You just want to jump off a bridge 5 minutes later. What's the point in following football if you're not going to be passionate about it and be like, we can still do it, guys. Look at our fixtures compared to City's fixtures. Which ones do you prefer? Which ones? Which ones do you prefer?
I've lined them up now. So the ones we got on the same day are next to each other. And then like Man City, Real Madrid 17th and 20th, 21, 24th, 28th are lined up. So you can see how many gaps between days between games that they've got. That is not an easy run-in.
I
don't think we're going to do it, though. But I hope we do.
Listen, let's get 90 points. Let's focus on ourselves and see what happens to City. Literally, let's see what happens to City. Leeds are, battling for relegation, out of relegation at the moment. City got tested by them. They've got Everton coming up. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. So we'll see. Let's least have some positive mental attitude towards it. That's my opinion, anyway. 91st minute here, Ramsdale save going wide, but he managed to get a fingertip on it. I thought Isak was just a fantastic player. He's got that Henry-esque ability about him, coming in from the left and then coming inside. In an alternate universe, I know that Arsenal were rumoured to sign him a little while ago before he made the move to Newcastle. It'd have been interesting because it's weird because I thought that he would struggle with the step up. It's a bit anxious, like the Jonathan David situation, who's doing really well in Liga and again this season, Jonathan David. But it's like, has he got the ability to step up? Can he do it at the higher level? And Isak's I really rate him. I really, really rate him. And then 90. Sorry,
he's Canadian, isn't he?
Who? Jonathan David?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Isak's Swedish.
Huh?
Isak's Swedish.
Yes. Two decent players.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It'd be interesting to see where Jonathan David goes in the summer. 93rd
he had
minute
to move last summer, didn't he?
He did, but I think he wanted to stay for one more season, and it's looking like it was the correct decision. He's just stepped up and taking his ability to that next level. So we'll see what happens. 93rd minute, Ben White, right back of the season. Challenge last minute, literally down by the byline. I can't think of anyone else as amazing as he stepped in and stepped up the way that Ben White has done this season. At the start of the season, we were like, we need a right back.
Yeah.
And there was rumors about Fresneda potentially coming in from La Liga, but it's like, but maybe we just get someone like a super backup for Ben White, because Ben White is just, I've never seen a centre back convert to right back as impressively as he is.
Arteta says he's one of the most intelligent players. You tell him what to do and he goes out there and does it. So that's what he converted his position. I know Josh was saying, because Josh has a season ticket there, he said he can play centre back. He played a lot at right back. He can play in a 3 at centre back, and he can also play defensive midfield. But you look at the career of that bloke. He was at Southampton as a young man, then went to Brighton without playing any games. He had a season on loan at Newport in the 4th tier, season on loan at Peterborough, 3rd tier, season on loan at Leeds, the 2nd tier, season with Brighton in the top tier, and then went to Arsenal. What a progression. And every club he went to, he was their player of the season.
He just steps in and just does the business. I absolutely love his work ethic and the fact that he doesn't let football consume him. I know he gets a lot of... I love
he's
it.
Not going home and playing Football Manager.
I absolutely love that he doesn't give a fucking shit about anybody's opinion. He's just himself. I love him. I love that about him. All that does to me is tell me that he oozes confidence.
Yeah.
He oozes confidence.
You see him. He's a good-looking bastard as well.
He's a stunning-looking bastard with a fantastic lion tattoo on his chest. Everyone gets really excited when he takes his shirt off at the end of the game because he's good-looking.
Everyone's waiting for the 90th minute.
That's exactly right. I'm a big fan of him. I think his confidence is phenomenal, and it steps up and it shows. 94 minutes of here, just written here, Newcastle scummy again. I think they're just doing what they do. It was a bit of an argument with Nketiah. He's keeping the ball in the corner, and they're throwing him around a little bit and giving him some jip. And Nketiah just doing the business to kind of see the game out. And Danny, and that was it. A 2-0 victory. We managed to get a clean sheet, which is fantastic stuff. But a 2-0 victory against Newcastle at St. James's in a situation where Newcastle are battling for a potential Champions League spot, which I'm hoping that they don't actually get. I'd rather United get that Champions League spot. But we have confirmed ourselves for 2nd place, at least, minimum, for this season's Premier League. And I'll tell you what, as I said at the start, Danny, if you were told at the very beginning, and I'm sure any other Arsenal fan, if you were told, 2nd, I think everybody would just go, yep, done. Deal.
First of all, they're going, I'll behave yourself. 2nd, we won't even get top 4. The naysayers. I said we'd get top 4, and I think Nick from ABW, he said 2nd. So if we do get 2nd, he's the man to blame. But it's brilliant, and you just see so much promise for next season. You can see our team evolving through the season, getting better and better. Every position.
I'm so excited.
With our best 11, that team, if they stay together for the next decade, that would be most of them, because some of them will be in their 40s by then. But you know what I mean. It'd be a wonderful thing. It's a great time to be an Arsenal fan.
Yes, I completely agree. Summer's going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. I'm really, really going to look forward to it. I know, Danny, you don't like doing summer transfers on Football Manager, but for me, that's my favourite moment in the game, is like finding a gem and then building the team and then selling someone that I can try and, I like they're 31 and they're worth 40 million, but they were like my best player. But I'm like, I'm going to cash in now and then buy some players and build a really young, promising team. Rick will know what I'm talking about. He's saying he's no Giroud. Giroud was the most stunningest man that played football for us. Holy Jesus Christ. I used to call him GQ Giroud, Gentleman's Quarterly. Unbelievable player. Loved GQ Giroud. But yeah, remember, guys, if you have any questions, make sure you put them into the chat, regardless of what platform you're on. They'll all show up on the same screen for us. So put the letter Q, then a little dash, and then you put your question. We've got a couple of questions that we're going to answer towards the end of the podcast. But yeah, I as a game, I thought it was fantastic. It was probably the most tense game that I've watched as an Arsenal fan this season. It's been a pleasure watching Arsenal this season. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been one of the first seasons in a very long time where I've managed to be able to catch every single game. Because sometimes there's been something that's happening in my life or whatever, but I managed to catch every game this season, and I'm absolutely buzzing because it's been one of the best seasons as an Arsenal fan. And you're right. Yeah. The future is very bright for us. We're looking brilliant. Champions League football is coming back to the Emirates. We're no longer going to be playing on a Thursday. We're going to be playing back on a Tuesday, Wednesday night. Can't wait for the music to kick up again. It's not even about the money. It's about the reputation that brings and the ability that we can handle ourselves in the transfer window. Confirmations on contracts like Saka and Ramsdale and Saliba are going to be a lot easier than they would do if we didn't get this Champions League football. That I can assure you. It's not even about the fact that we can go out there and sign bigger, better players now, and we can offer them Champions League football and a title push to boot. But it's about confirming and solidifying those contracts with Saka, Ramsdale, and Saliba. So I can't wait to see what happens in the future, Danny. It's going to be freaking amazing.
I am going to look forward to it. I do like the Arsenal transfer window, though. I do like doing that, do some shows. Every season, I say, I will do a standalone half-hour show for every player we sign and every first-team player that leaves, and I never do it. But now I've got you, and I've got Stan, and Carl, and a few others, so that hopefully
I'm up for it.
Nick and a few others. I'm going to try and be a little bit more organised this summer, but sometimes you think everyone else is doing it. But then again, I think it's not about numbers at ABW. It's about just having a chat about the stuff that we like.
Exactly. It's about offering an opportunity for people that are just as passionate as us and as positive as us, because we're the most positive podcast out there, that's for sure. And we're proud to keep that in our minds. So I'm very excited about the summer. I can't wait for the summer. Bringing in Rice, Caicedo. I know that people aren't rating Mount, but if Arteta wants Mount, give the man Mount. That's all I'm going to say.
I've been getting grief here from Mike Hertz, the fake Guatemalan. Danny, that sounds like a great idea. You should name that pod the Tactical Breakdown. That belongs to Sir Tom of Canton. I would have his people, his groupies would be all over me. No, can't take on the Canton and steal his ideas. Patrick Carson says we need the West Ham guy.
Is he having a good game, Patrick? Is he having a good game? I'm going to assume he's having a good game.
How they were all out against Man City when we needed them to be there, wasn't it? Rice and Souček and I don't know. And the bloke the Italian come from Sassuolo.
Paqueta.
No, the Italian really tall striker.
Oh, Scamacca.
Scamacca.
I like him. More. No, he got an injury, right? Scamacca's got an injury.
I've got no idea.
I'm pretty sure he's got an injury. I like Scamacca. He's a target man. I love myself a target man. Scamacca. I love myself a target man. Love it.
Is Travisor our Travis from my WhatsApp group? I don't know. Colo's used cars. If you need a used car and you don't want an MOT, you don't want a warranty, and you want to pay overpriced for a rusty piece of shit, go to Colo's used cars and tell him that we sent you, and he will give you a 0% family discount. Nice to see you back there, Colo. Arsenio Wonga. Danny the Tree, good evening, sir. Hello to you, Mr. Wonga. Patrick says, yes, West Ham was denied a clear penalty for handball. Travisor says no, he's not. We're glad you're here anyway, Travisor. I do like dinosaur-style names. Arsenio saying, hello, everyone. Demsek, who is that? Is not a picture of Demsek. Demsek is someone of my vintage. fine-looking young man he is. You could call the show Danny's Takeaway.
Good, I like that.
Yeah, I just started a new save on FM15, says Boy 10. FM15. And Scamacca scored in his debut for PSV at the age of 15.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. I like Scamacca.
Carlo says he can't believe he pays for these ads. Yeah, Carlo, you've not paid us in 8 years. You owe us £2.4 million. And also that Fiesta that you sold us went over around about bloody thing split in half. The back half was a Citroen AX. Absolutely gutted about that. Colonel Ward says if we want a target man, we have to get Zigic out.
That is a name from the past, Danny. That is a name from the past. Holy Christ, Zigic. Wow. Okay. Whoa.
Actually, there was a Eastern European, might have been Croatian. He was massive, he was bald, and he finished his career at Monaco in Ligue 2. And I can't remember who he was, but he was an absolute unit of a player. I think I remember playing him on like FIFA 12 or something, and he never went faster than a brisk walk. Yeah. So that's another weird one for you.
If we're talking about target men, Danny, my favorite target man is Lorenzo Luca. Used to play for a Serie B team, but he made a move in the summer to Ajax. He's about 6'4", 6'5", and he's my favorite. Has been for last FM and this FM has been my favorite striker signing. I'm doing an Almera save at the moment in La Liga, which are they're like a very tiny club that got created in 1989 in the southern part of Spain, but they got bought out by a Saudi. And they've put a little bit of money into the club, even though they've got a stadium the size of Bournemouth, 15,000. But I managed to sign Luca on my it's like 4 years in, signed Luca. I love Lorenzo Luca. Ajax haven't really used him much, but I like Luca. He's a very good target man. So if you play Football Manager, Luca's your man. I love a target man. I think there's obviously talks about potentially Tony making a move, Watkins.
Luca Tony? That'd be lovely. One of my favourite ever Palermo players. That'd be great seeing him back in the big time.
We'll see what happens. Summer, as I said, the summer's going to be interesting. Danny's already said that we're gonna be doing some podcast during the summer. So every signing that we make, we'll have a podcast specifically on that player, and we'll do some. We'll obviously do deadline day this year, 1,000,000%, Danny. That's a guarantee. Yes. We're doing deadline day every hour on the hour with rotational guests, Danny. It's going to be great, 100%. But yeah, once again, guys, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We've got 3 questions at the moment. Let's get a few more, shall we? And remember, guys, if you're on Twitter, hit us up with a follow. If you're on YouTube, also subscribe to us and hit us up with a like. If you're enjoying the content, share it about a bit for some people to listen to this post-pod. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you hit that follow button as well, guys. And Amazon Primes or Twitch Primes, sorry, cost you nothing to chuck it our way and give a little gentleman's nod to man Danny that himself. So it's gonna be an interesting summer, Danny. It's gonna be an interesting summer. What else we got going on? It's gonna be fun.
Get the old war chest out, get the feather duster out, give it a tickle, and see what wonders Edu and co. And you guarantee people are gonna be bitching on Twitter the entire time. Why are you having a barbecue? Why aren't you buying players? How about you shut up, you mongs?
I love that they love barbecues because that's my favorite pastime as well. I love a barbecue. We're having one. Rick and a couple of others are coming down up to mine for a barbecue in a couple of weeks, which I can't wait to do. Love a barbecue, me. But yeah, no. What was I going to say? Kroenkes, they backed the Mudryk deal, didn't they? I don't know if you know this, guys, but apparently Kroenke green-lighted matching the Mudryk deal. So I know that a lot of people are talking about, Mudryk, he had to go to Chelsea and whatnot. Arsenal had an opportunity to match the massive, huge bid that Chelsea eventually put in for him, and Arteta and Edu made the decision to not go through with the deal and not match them on the bid, even though we could have potentially signed Mudryk because they wanted to keep the structure and the wage and the idea of their philosophy alive, as opposed to breaking that just because Chelsea have signed their 14th winger of the season. They've got about 52 wingers playing at Chelsea, and they just can't get enough game time for them. But yeah, I can't wait for the summer. You know, if Kroenke was gonna back us for the Mudryk deal, the war chest this summer is gonna be fucking amazing. Huddling. Sorry, that's another FM legend right there. I love Hudlin. Hudlin's like 6'9". I think he's the tallest striker in FM. I had him last season. Loved Hudlin. He's like a League Two. If you can get him in the Vanarama National, he's winning the league for you. Get him in League Two, he's winning the league for you. Carl Hudlin. I think he's 6'9". I'm loving all of these classic target men coming out. This is fantastic.
People have been doing the full search. I'm stuck on the latest Football Manager. I went and started the game unemployed as the most basic manager you can. Didn't go ex-international, and then I managed to get a job in October at Salisbury in the Conference North, even though they're near Bristol.
That's impressive to get a team that high up.
Yeah, and then I did that, and then I saved them from relegation. Next season, pushed for the playoffs. But then in that level, you find that I get a really good player, and they always get taken away. I want to leave, and then you think, fuck's sake. So then they all bloody leave, and then I missed out because nobody told me that the FM gets used to your formation. So I first up to Christmas, I'd lost one game in the league. Then I lost 7 out of 8. And then someone said, FM does it. They get wise to your tactics, so you need to shuffle your tactics around. Anyway, made the playoffs. Halfway through the next season, got relegated. Didn't make the playoffs, and they sacked me. And then the next season, they were in the relegation zone. And I'd got the Forest Green job. That was about January this year, and I've just not got
Forest Green. They got relegated this season. We are the first official vegan football club. Oh, get out of it. Stop making everything political. Christ almighty.
Scumbags.
Anyway, I digress. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the chat. I saw Dembski said that Mudryk chose the Chelsea pay. I didn't hear. I heard different. I heard that obviously we didn't match the bid. But also, Shakhtar basically told Mudryk, you either stay here and we'll basically let you rot, or we sell you to Chelsea. So his hand was forced. You can see it as well when Arteta was walking along the touchline. He sort of embraced Mudryk when he was warming up, and then after the game as well. I think it was Gabriel and Zinchenko were having a chat with him, and they were giving him some sort of condolences, I'm sure, or something along those lines. But I don't blame Mudryk as much as it was frustrating to see. But I don't think it had anything to do with the Mudryk situation. I don't think it did. The Chelsea situation. I think it's just Shakhtar forced his hand, and we didn't go in for him in the end. We kind of pulled out. But that's my 2 pence on the whole situation with Mudryk.
There you go. That's that settled. So far, we've only got 6 questions, and one of them is from Phil Macker, and that's 50-50 whether it's going to be any good at all. So we'll start. Should we start off with Phil's question?
Yeah, go on then.
What are your thoughts on ESR being the new Xhaka? See?
Yeah.
Nonsense.
So I said at the start of the pod I wanted to discuss this because there was lots of talk. Now, we go back last year. Was it last year Martinelli barely got any game time? Was it last year?
After the injury. Yeah.
After the injury.
Before that.
Martinelli didn't get any game time. And everyone was like, what's going on here? Why isn't Arteta giving Martinelli any game time? And he said, listen, he's trying to get Martinelli to play a specific type of way. He's trying to change him a bit, adapt him, grow him a little bit before chucking him back in. And then Martinelli's been the Martinelli of this season, who is just absolutely unbelievable. I know, and he got the goal that gave us the cushion today. Really fantastic play from Gabriel Martinelli, a guy that we signed from the Brazilian leagues for like 7 million quid. Quality stuff, I say. Quality stuff. Now, there's talk about ESR not being in favour with Arteta. He's not getting much game time this season, especially after the injury. He had surgery, and he hasn't played many minutes this season. Considering how well he did last season, I think he got like double figures from substitute appearances coming on and just placing the ball beautifully after like one touch. It was fantastic stuff to see. But obviously he had the surgery, and then I think he had like a setback, and we've not really seen much of ESR. Now, there was a news article that came out last week that basically said that ESR is getting retrained to be playing in the number 8 spot. It's a role that I think he can do very well. So what do we make of this, Danny? Do we think that this is what's happening with ESR? Do we think that we're going to maybe see more of him next season? I personally think this is pretty much ESR's last chance saloon situation. I really need to see a massive step up. And if it's in a position where he's going to be repositioned and retrained in an area number 8, then why are we looking at Mount? Why are we looking at someone like Rice or Caicedo who can play those positions as well? Fabio Vieira as well. There was a picture that went out. I tagged you in it, Danny. Fabio Vieira getting in the middle of training with Arteta, and Arteta kind of pushing him and getting fed up with him because he obviously wasn't working as hard. I think Fabio Vieira is going to go on loan at the end of the season, next season. I think he'll go on loan. I don't think he'll. Yeah, I think he needs game time. I think he needs a championship loan.
Oh no, not a champ. He'll get broken. I think skinny little legs.
I think. Well, he needs to step up. He can't keep this skinny little leg mentality for very much longer if he wants to do this. So we'll see what happens. So then potentially it leaves a pocket of space for ESR. But then, as I said, we're going for Mount. Caicedo, Rice can play there. What's going to happen with ESR, Danny? Are we going to be looking at maybe cashing in on ESR? That's not really. I don't know.
Oh, it's annoying. He's got so much promise. He's a Hale End boy, and that buys you some extra time. But he's not an Arteta man, is he? Although last season he saved our ass time and time again, coming off the bench and scoring goals, like you were saying. Can he play the middle of the park?
Can he play number 8?
Yeah, the CM Xhaka.
Will he get game time as a number 8?
I think we've seen that from Xhaka does get forward a lot, and if he's allowed to get forward, and then we know that Odegaard likes to drop deeper a bit. Those two almost have like a swap backwards and forwards between them. I think he could definitely do that job, but I think that Odegaard might get a little bit annoyed if every time he turns around, there's ESR standing where he should be standing. And then we know that the DM needs cover from central midfield. And I'm not sure that's a job that ESR can do. And I don't think it's going to work out, sadly.
Yeah, I think it's a stretch. I think that he's probably going to be in the shop window. Boy Tendio says I think he's probably going to be in the shop window. I think that's going to be a thing. If he's going to be working the number 8 role, he's going to have to work on his positioning and his tackling ability, and his interceptions needs to be something that's obviously what they're working on, because his attacking threat is fantastic, but he's got to really work on his defensive capabilities as well. So I don't know. I'd love to be optimistic. I met ESR a couple of years ago, just before he signed the new contract, which gave him the number 10 shirt. So I've met him. He's a lovely guy. He's a really, really down-to-earth guy. He said that about all of them. But as they say, never meet your idol, because you'll meet him on a bad day, and then that's what your impression will be of them for the rest of your life. But I met him, and he's a nice kid. So I've got no qualms with it. But I hope that he gets an opportunity. Whether he does or not remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. But it will be everything to do with who we sign in the summer. We're going to bringing in at least 2 to 3 midfielders. Fabio Vieira potentially leaving on a loan, or maybe even more, leaves an opportunity for ESR, but not much.
Question from Anne, lots of numbers. Why did VAR not review the Schlar elbow on Jace's face? Because they're arseholes. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about the VAR situation. We've seen it all season. That it's been it's an incapable. The thing is, right? VAR system is still run by humans. So there is still open for human error, even though it's being monitored by it's technically being first monitored by a computer, but that computer is being monitored by a human. So there is still human error within VAR, which is it's an oxymoron. So I don't know. But then catch-22, guys. Shah gets sent off, and then he doesn't get the own goal. So I would rather him stay on, in hindsight, and get the goal. So
maybe she needs to get ChatGPT to sort out VAR.
Oh, God. Christ almighty.
Mike Hertz says, despite the positive vibes at the club, I can't help but feel we missed our chance to win a league. Am I just being pessimistic because of recent results, or can we beat City in the next few seasons? You are right to be pessimistic that we missed our chance. And no, I don't think we're going to beat them, because they will just go, aha, right, you've got a decent team. Right, we've only got two lots of first team. We'll have a third lot, and we'll just go and buy everybody. What do you think?
Listen. You don't win the league by beating. You can win the league by not beating City. Let's say we play them again. We go into next season, right? Yeah. And we lose to City at Emirates, and we lose the City at the Etihad. We can still win the league. They're very much in a world of their own with the ability that they have, and it's not even the fact that they've got lots of money. They've got a really well structured system as well. Pep and all of their backroom staff, they do things incredibly well. Obviously, a lot of money is helping them a lot, but it doesn't mean that we can't still compete with them. We've got 18 other teams that we can get points from. So we'll see what happens. And listen, we'll see what happens as well, because they've got the allegations on them as well. We'll see what happens there. We knew that nothing was going to come into play this season, but potentially next season. Yeah, exactly. They're literally cheating. So we'll see what happens. Let's play our game, not worry about them, and see where we end up at the end of the next season. All right.
Yes, indeed. I'm just looking for a little something very strange is happening in football. Last week, Valentin Castellanos scored 4 goals for Girona as they beat Real Madrid 4-2. Today, Lyon 5, Montpellier 4. Lacazette scored 4 goals, including a penalty, and Eli Wahi also scored 4 goals, including a penalty. And when was the last time? I mean, Lacazette scored the winner to make
how many goals has he got this season? He's got a lot of goals this season. He's got like 25.
I think he's on 24 in 30. But he scored that. They were losing 4-1 after 55 minutes. And then they made it Lacazette 4-2. And then Dejan Lovren, bloody hell, 40.
Whoa.
70th minute. And then Lacazette scored the equaliser in the 82nd minute. And then in the 89th minute, Lacazette scored a penalty. Wow. 2 players scoring 4 goals in different sides in the same game. That's got to be
rarely
first,
happens.
doesn't it?
That rarely happens.
You rarely see players scoring 4 goals. So Real Madrid last week, the first player to do it against Real Madrid since the 1940s, I think. Just weird.
Yeah.
There you go. Right. Thank you very much, Mike, for that question. Boy10 says, why can't the likes of Balogun and Patino see the massive opportunity they are missing out on by opting out of Arteta's Arsenal? Arteta had Nketiah looking good, for fuck's sake. Good, very good point, Boy10.
Don't agree. I think Balogun and Patino are actually really smart. They're kind of putting their love for the club and emotions aside, which making a decision based on emotion is not necessarily the best thing to do a lot of the time. And they're making a decision based on their future. They know that they're not going to get much game time at Arsenal. Yeah, okay, we're very much a team that gives a lot of opportunities to young and up-and-coming players. I think we're at a different stage right now in our system and our progression going forward. We're going to be going in hard in the summer, guys. Summer's going to be fucking crazy. I know you're thinking, yeah, we'll see what happens, Deac. But I'm under no false pretenses. I'm 100% confident that the summer's going to be absolutely insane. We're going to sign some incredible players. And Balogun and Patino obviously know this, so that's the reason why they're making a move on, and that's the reason why Nelson's not staying around, because he knows that he's not going to get much game time. But in regards to the what was the other part of the question? Nketiah, that was it. Sorry, Nketiah. Let's be serious here, guys. Do you really think he's not going to be up for sale in the summer?
Nketiah,
if we sign a striker, do you really think they're not going to look to get rid of him? He's not on Arteta signing. I know he's a Haaland. We love our Nketiah in that regard, but we're competing with the Champions League and the title. We can't be relying on someone like Eddie Nketiah. And I'm being ruthless here. Sometimes I said you need to take emotion out of it. And Nelson's leaving, Balogun's leaving, Patino's leaving because he knows they're not going to game time because bigger, better players are going to be coming into those spots. And Nketiah needs to know this as well.
There's a good point from Dejan. We've also got Brandon Clinton-Jones. You sound like a jazz singer from the 1940s. I bet you can bang out a tune. Oh, well, Cool J's on the F1. A bag, crushed up pink cookies in a plastic bag. I can't remember.
Sorry, LL Cool J?
Oh. I'm watching the F1 on the other screen. Dejan says, blah, blah, Man City will in 2 seasons have to rebuild, and when Pep goes out, this team will collapse. Where will Pep go next, Mr. Deac?
Okay, so he's done Barca.
Yeah.
He's done Bayern.
Yeah.
He's now done City. Maybe a trip to Italy. But then
Inter Milan, come on.
Inter Milan is a shout. Inter Milan's a shout.
It needs to have, isn't it, Inter?
Huh?
One of them. Is your team Inter one of yours?
What, in Italy? No.
Yeah.
No. I don't know.
Most of ABW support Inter.
Sorrento. They today have just got promoted to Serie C. from Serie D.
my
So
Palermo
congratulations, congratulations
day.
to Sorrento. They're celebrating on a children's train around Sorrento right now. They're having a barrel of laughs. It's great times. Great times. And Sparta Prague, the other team that I follow in the Czech Republic, are going to probably win their first title in nearly a decade. So it's good times for all the teams that I follow. So I was hoping for Arsenal, and still potentially will, for a nice little W on our side as well. That was going to be nice stuff.
Boy says Pep to go to PSG. Dejan says go to Juve
PSG
or Inter.
I don't think Juve have got the reputation, but they're fucked financially. Fucked. They're all under loads of issues at the moment. So, but yeah, PSG is probably a shout.
Because Mike Hernandez is a bit of a scumbag. He says Forza AC Milan. I've put him on a timeout.
That's a good idea.
Fuck the Hurts. I've never told
I'm happy for Napoli to get their title this year. I've got no qualms with Napoli. Osherman looks incredible, and that left winger from Poland or something like that. I can't remember. I can't pronounce his name for shit. But incredible player. They look brilliant. I've been to Napoli when I went to Sorrento. It's a lovely place. Lovely place. Good pizza. You can probably understand that. Really, really good pizza. Yeah. So have we got any other questions?
We certainly do. Right, the next one is okay, that was that one done. Travis says, you think we'll sell both Balogun and Nketiah? I think
if we sign a striker.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if we sign a striker, both go. Yeah. Balogun's leaving anyway. He wants to leave. As does Patino and Nelson. Obviously, Nelson, we're not going to get anything for him, but Balogun's going to leave. And
don't we get any money from Nelson because he was a youth product and development money, or is he too old for that now?
I think it's too. I don't know much about that. I think it's done and dusted. I don't think we're going to get any money for him. That's just is what it is. But yeah, I would be interested. I'll tell you what, if Balogun leaves, which he will be, and we put up Nketiah for sale, or he leaves, there's going to be a madness going on with the striker position. Because because there's rumours, obviously, Arsenal potentially going in for a winger / forward. I would love to sign a proper striker, because Gabriel Jesus can play on the wing. So we've already got someone who can kind of do that. I'd love to go in. Let's go and fucking sign Osherman. Should we just go and sign the guy? Go and sign the guy. No.
I'm looking at some facts for you, dear people. Where is he? Reece Nelson is 23, and it says, where was it? Compensation is playable until the end of the season of the player's 23rd birthday.
You can't Bossman. I know Boy Tendio said Nelson's Bossman. You can't Bossman the same league, Premier League. So no Premier League player can offer a contract to Nelson in January. That's the reason why he's got all options open for summer. So there's no Bossman. Bossman's 6 months.
So I think we will get compensation for him because he's 23 of the season after this season. So maybe a few million, hopefully. So
Tim Merrick's comment, Pep to Wrexham. Have you seen what I love Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Not the newest season, but all the seasons before. It should have finished in the Quasar, if you're familiar with the series. But I love what as much as they've kind of pumped money into Wrexham, they've kind of inflated the wages and whatnot. It's kind of like a weird little story. But it's nice to see people like Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, who didn't know anything about football, all of a sudden just obsessed with football, and they understand it. So it's interesting to see someone that from America, where they've never really understood the sport, to then fully understand the reason why we're obsessed with this shit. I kind of like that a little bit, what they did with Ben Foster. and apparently Rob McElhenney wants to take Gareth Bale golfing so he can try and convince him to sign for Wrexham. So that's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, let's see what happens with the Wrexham situation. But it's funny. It's like a Hollywood story. It's funny. It's interesting.
Try and get through the rest of these questions quickly. Barry says, with Champions League fixtures next year, would you take a punt on Zaha on a free? Absolutely.
Depends on the wages, Danny. I think that's an astute signing if it's the wages are in our favour. Yes.
Attitude.
If we get we've got Champions League football. I was going to say if we've got Champions League football. That means that we can pay him a little bit less, because he'll be like, oh my god, fucking Champions League football! You pay me 20 grand a week. Done. Deal. Signed. Because he's a guy that I know he's he's Wilfried Zaha, but in certain situations he can cause. He's got that chaos factor about him. He can beat a man and he can do something a little bit different. He's a different option than what we have already. So I if we can get him on a relatively cheap contract with a low signing on bonus as well as his agent, I say flirt with the idea. Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. I agree. Yes, he is. I apologise.
They're all the same. Demsek says, "What's your thoughts on Vieira and should all new signings be given time to bed in?" I'll answer this one. Vieira should go on loan next season. Deac says Championship club. I say Premier League club that might have Europe, someone like West Ham, hopefully, that they're going to win the Europa League, whatever, the Europa Conference League. I'd love to see West Ham do well. And yeah, they do need time to bed in, especially if they're from outside of this league. So next question, is Kivior class? You can have
I think the fact that he's a left-footed centre-back playing in the right-back position and kind of chucked in the way that he has against Chelsea and now against Christ, I completely forgot who he played. Christ.
Today?
Newcastle. Christ, I've had a complete brain fart there. He stepped in against Chelsea, did the business, and he's done a really good job against Newcastle at St James's. So whether he's class or not, I think is maybe a stretch, but I think he's a breath of fresh air after the Saliba debacle.
He's eager.
Yes, I like that about him. Eager beaver.
Arsenio says, Danny, the GFB question, would you consider finishing second as a good thing? Because I won't. I'm used to seeing Arsenal win titles, but it's been so long that I gave up the hope of seeing us win the league again. But to come from 8th, 5th to second, that is a huge jump. And so to win the Premier League, you need to go up and increment in steps.
We could break this question down. Yeah, we can break this question down a million times. I think we've spoken about it we can speak about it till the cows come home. If you were given the opportunity to have second at the start of the table, you'd take it. But then expectations change throughout the season, depending on results. And we were, at one point, the title was in our hands. Hasn't ended up that way. Now it's in City's. They've got a tough fixture listing. To say that that's it now, the title's over, even this season, is a little bit early and premature. I think it's still very much on the table as an opportunity. But if we don't end up getting it this season, the summer's going to be. I don't think you understand how amazing this summer's going to be, and based on transfers and who we bring in, guys, I really don't think you get it. Next year is going to be even more incredible than this year, and this year's been fantastic to be an Arsenal fan. I've loved watching football this season. It's been great.
Yeah.
Be positive, guys. Be positive.
Dejan says, Lokonga to leave or not? I don't think he's been doing great. What are you doing? I'm saying goodbye. I don't think Lokonga's done great at Crystal Palace. I'm going to go and have a quick look and see if he's actually played for Crystal Palace much. I know he started a couple, and I think he's came on as a sub a couple of times. He plays yesterday. West Palace played away at Spurs yesterday. He didn't start the game, I don't think. He didn't even get a game. Lokonga, go and click on his minutes. He had 65 minutes against Wolves, and they lost 2-0. He had 5 minutes against Southampton, and they won. He had 90 minutes against Brighton, they lost. 90 minutes against Man City, and they lost. And 81 minutes against Villa, and they lost. There's a pattern forming here. 90 minutes against Liverpool and drew. 63 minutes against Brentford and drew. Doesn't look. The highest rating he's got was a 6.85 in the 1-1 at Brentford, and the lowest he got was yesterday, a 5.94. He's done. Which is a shame.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So there you go. Because I want to get a move on. One final question. We have it from Boy10. Does it confuse attackers when they play against a left-footed centre-backs? Is it like Southpaw?
It's like
I have no idea.
Adrian, you forgot your hat. Adrian. Love that when he wins the belt, and he's the first. That's the first thing he says to Adrian. He's like, "I just won the belt. You dropped your hat." Love Rocky. My favourite series.
The director's version last night.
How long's that? Like 5 hours?
2 hours and 50 English minutes, and I loved every second of it.
Oh, it's brilliant, Gladiator.
I've got fucking ants, dirty bastards.
Jesus.
I know.
But yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, like Southpaw, I like it. kind of throws everyone off. His interception play is definitely his strongest point. His interception play is incredibly. He's so smart and quick with his mind. So I'm a big fan. He even did a really well-placed header earlier in this game as well today. Kind of stopped a passage of play from Newcastle. So I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of his. Yeah, thumbs up, Loki. Thumbs up. It's free. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, hit us up with a thumbs up, guys. It doesn't cost you a penny, and it gives all the calculations on the YouTubes to tell everybody that we're a decent podcast so other people can listen, and let's grow our family just that little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. Right, I think that's it. Arsenio says, Deac, I hear your point, bro, but I feel so deflated after seeing ours in the lead for 92% of the season, and for us to bottle the remaining 8% to go, bro. Great point you made, though, nonetheless. What a good way to end the show.
EMA, positive mental attitude. What's the point in not being positive about potentially winning a title? What's the point watching football in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Let's just be positive, guys, and enjoy this season because it's been fantastic. Guys, we could still win the league. We could still win the league.
Have a little looky poo at the league table here. There you go. We are only 1 point behind them. They don't win their game, and if they lose one of their next games, there's a point in it.
Yep, they've got a very tough fixture in between 2 Real Madrid games against Everton, who are in a relegation battle, so they will turn up. They are literally in the relegation spots right now. So that's going to be interesting. And as I said, it's pocketed in between 2 very difficult games against Real Madrid. They've got Chelsea as well. They've kind of just bounced back recently from yesterday with a 3-1 victory. They've got Brighton as well at the Amex, which is going to be a very tough fixture for both Arsenal next. Obviously, we've got Brighton not away from home, but Brighton's are a difficult team. They've got very, very good attacking threats. And Steele's been very good in goal for Brighton. And then they got Brentford, as I said, the only other team that's beaten them this season. So I don't think it's all cut and dusted and everything's sorted now. I think things are still open. So just be positive, guys. Enjoy the season. Be positive. Let's enjoy. See Man City. Sorry, sweat big time. And someone's there. Yeah.
One of my neighbours is asking if he can come in and say hello.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Is that a normal thing, Danny? I would be really confused by that. The idea of some of my neighbours popping in to say hello.
Oh, no, all my neighbours are all great.
Oh, that's very nice. The community feels. I like that.
If you give the show a thumbs up, I've edited it wrongly. You're not. We all surprise you. But if you
give this show a thumbs up.
We don't know what will happen, but it'll be a surprise. Right, I think it's time for you to end the show because the F1's about to start and I want to watch Lewis Hamilton crash.
Yes, I'm happy to see that. I hate Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. I used to like him.
Grifter.
Back in the day.
Race grifter. Not a fan. Race grifter. Can't stand him. Anyway, I digress. Let's not get political. Thanks for everybody jumping into the podcast. You're all freaking awesome. It was a 2-0 victory against Newcastle at St. James's. I did forget a little bit earlier who we played today, but now I remember because it was a great game. Let's see what happens. Real Madrid have got, City have got Real Madrid during the week, and then they've got Everton, and then Real Madrid again. So let's just see what happens. It has been a wonderful season. Tim Merrick, you are completely correct. Let's just be positive, guys. Let's enjoy the football. Let's enjoy the process. Let's enjoy football. The pressure is no longer on us. And we're doing it now. We're doing it. We got a fantastic result against Chelsea, and we just got a fantastic, brilliant result against Newcastle at their ground in a game where they really pushed us to the limit, and we managed to get the result, including a clean sheet. Man of the match, Ramsdale doing the business, and Martinelli and Odegaard leading the front and getting the goals. So remember, guys, keep it Arsenal. Let's fucking do it, yeah? Let's fucking do it, Danny. Let's keep it Arsenal.
Indeed.
As soon as I scored that goal, I was fucking livid. Get down, dog. Splendid business.
You nearly caught the bloody thing. What are you talking about?
So I was just eating a full quiche. Well, you don't often see them at it. So when you see them in the supermarket, they need to be swagged, microwaved immediately, and get the brown sauce on and bosh, Bob's your uncle.